I'm all prepped here. Bethany and I we're gonna do a wolf fleshing video. Come on in here, Betsy. And Bethany is gonna be my cameraman. So hope you guys enjoy this. This is gonna be my tutorial second part on finishing up a wolf kill that I had, and yeah, here we go. All right, Betsy, you ready to go? Mm-hmm. All right. Hi, Betsy.
Hey.
How are you feeling up there?
Good.
Are you feeling all safe?
Yeah.
we rigged up a safety belt here for Bethany. Okay, this is the wolf here, the bigger wolf that I caught, biggest wolf that I caught. I'm gonna take and flash this guy. Girl. I suspect that this is the alpha female. And so what I've done here is I have got a wolf that I'm skinning for taxidermy. And so I'll try and give you guys the information as I know it. My knife is not quite sharp. Well, I try to take and do most of the fleshing work on the entire animal. I try to do it with my two-handed flesher. I got used to it. Really like it. You know, the trick is recognizing a fox from a wolf and everything in between. The coyote will give you everything. A coyote will give you a little skinny guy there with a skinny head and thin skin, up to a hide that's as tough as a wolf. But I really find that once you kind of know where those weak spots are, and once you kind of get a feel, as soon as you start working on that animal, I find you figure out where the you know, whether or not the skin is thin, or and yeah, I like my flesher. I like to do most of it. I get those lips, get those nose done, and then I take and scrape off a little bit of that excess stuff with the scraper. And yeah, pretty much in love with my fleshing machine there, my two-handed flesher. And once I get to the ears there, I just try to come in off the sides, work my way around the back to get about halfway up that ear. Doesn't matter whether or not I take and this part of what I'm doing here. It doesn't matter whether I'm taxidermy skinning an animal or if I'm skinning one for the fur market. Even if I'm going to pull that cartilage out, this process here is exactly the same. The only thing that's different is here with this wolf here is I'll leave that cartilage in, and that's, again, it depends on. Best to have a conversation with your taxidermist to see what he wants. Does he want you to skin the whole thing out? How soon can you get it to him? Are you even going to take and flesh it? I mean, everything comes into play. But if you don't know, an easy way to take and do this is, just take and skin that cartilage out on the back side of it at least. And then you'll see once I get to finishing those ears off. Hey?
And he's scared that she might fall?
Yeah, she's doing good. She's a champ. You're awesome. Right here, now that I worked through that little part of the saddle right here that I had to flesh through, on a coyote they can be so bad, and on an older wolf, especially when they're not very fatty, it can be just a nightmare to skin that off, flesh that off. So what I do is, like I said, like I showed in my coyote skinning and also in the wolf skinning video, you try to do that tail part when you get time to take and do your winch pull, that you leave that saddle attached up here. And the reason that I had to cut it here is because these wolves, they were not quite thawed yet, and so my winch just powered out, and plus I was nearing the end of my winch pull, so it was okay. It was just a little short piece that I had to flesh through, but now you can see, this will be easy. All I got to do is just roll this fat off here. Quick. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm just sitting here editing this video, and I'm watching me get back into this wolf here. And what comes to mind is every time that you do a coyote, and you have a coyote that's so hard skinning on the back end, which is a lot of them. And you can see I'm working on this wolf here, but I mean, it was a good skinning wolf. All three of this group here that I caught, they were all good, but when you're skinning off the back side of a coyote, man, it's forever I am fighting scars. And whether they are old scars or new scars, or they've rolled in these burly bushes, and I mean, it's well worth your while when you're skinning coyotes to take and brush the heck out of the back of that back. At least you don't want something to take and cause you to bust a hole in there. But I mean, that two-handed flesher that I use, I mean, I just keep running it, and you really start to develop a really good feel. You can push on it, but at the same time, it's almost like you can feel it in your hands and plus your eyes. Like as soon as you start, you see just a little bit of gray, and it's almost like you're rolling over top of it. You know, you come into it, but you're kind of rolling over top of it. The first pass, your flesher is actually kind of rolling over top of it, if that makes any sense. And you do that because you just, you know, I'm just enjoying watching this just for the simple fact that this wolf doesn't, that these wolves that I catch, they're not scarred up like that. You know, they can be a tough, the back can be tough skinning, but at the same time, it's you're just not fighting with the scars. And I guess maybe that's just me. That's my testimony as to dealing with a lot of coyotes. I mean, they're just the craziest machine with the way that they fight amongst themselves. They're pretty torturous animals among their own species. But yeah, even like working that fat, that last part of the meat, I mean, it's coming off. It's not, working with wolves is, I love it. I love it. I love fleshing wolves. I mean, they come up so clean. I forget, I'm looking at that little spot there. I forget what that was, but that, like, I didn't put that in there, but there seems to be a little hole there. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but anyway, at any rate, yeah, it was, yeah, you still gotta work on them there. I took and I did the vent. In this case, I took and I left the vent with the tail, and I'm not sure if I like that. I know some taxidermists, they say, you just cut right close to it and cut it right out, but man, I've dealt with some real keener taxidermists, and they want everything, you know. Just at the off chance, I don't know, I guess if they want that tail up or whatever, I mean, it, especially like a showpiece, you know, they want to be able to take and show that and whatnot, but yeah, it was a pleasure doing these wolves. They were, you know, they were easy skinning. The only thing that I was kind of fighting was the fact that they were frozen, and I mean, the day I was kind of going from one day to the next there, and I basically targeted a day where I said to myself, I'm going to take and skin these wolves, you know, and I was kind of brushing them a little bit and making sure that I was trying to take and work some warmth into their fur to take and help them. So, yeah, I was dealing with a little bit of frost issues there, especially around the front shoulders. And like I showed you there, that saddle there, I had to cut that saddle off once I got near the front shoulders. I mean, the winch that I have, it's kind of nice that it's slightly undersized because it stalls out before I rip. You know, those big tough coyotes and a wolf, like it'll actually just comes to a stop. And these wolves that I was skinning there, especially when I got past mid belly, my winch would just come to a stop, and I'd just go one quick swipe around with the knife. I'd give it another punch on the winch there, got another inch. So I mean, it was still pretty quick skinning. I mean, they were that close, but I had to cut a little bit of that saddle off at the front shoulders there. Yeah, it's really nice there, taking and working on these heavier hides there. I mean, you don't have to take and worry quite so much there about thin-skinned necks. You always kind of, you got to be a little bit careful there, working around that snare location. It's so interesting how when they come into that snare, you can see here I'm on the bottom of the neck, and you can see how that wolf actually took that snare fairly close to the jaw, but yet at the same time the snare inevitably goes back further down on his neck when it tightens. And you know, these wolves, they went down so quick, so it's, you know, you can see there's not a lot of like the marking of the snare. It's it's like you can tell how quick he went down. Like there was not a lot of time that they actually spent in that snare before they laid down. So that part's nice. You don't have to worry quite so much about fleshing around there. I mean, sometimes, I've done it where I've got that, I take that ram, and before I took and bent my rams back at 90 degrees away from the snare, and for whatever reason, when you leave that that jewelry on your snare kind of laying around with the loop, all of a sudden that animal takes and goes into that snare and actually carries the rest of that ram and everything else. It has it inside the loop, and I've had that, and you just end up with a complete wreck. I mean, basically, it just inhibits that snare from closing properly, gripping properly, and you couple that with these canines in the middle of winter here in North America. The fur can become so thick and dense, and if you handle one of these animals, and when you skin them out and you look at how skinny that neck is, versus when you see that animal actually standing in the wild. Like, I don't know what the circumference difference is there, but it's just massive. Obviously, if you take and compress that fur down, it gets a lot smaller. But you think about putting all that stuff underneath that cable, as a trapper, you really try to take and get all of your ducks in a row to ensure that when that snare wants to close, let it close properly, let it close all the way, and the last thing you want to do is have a bad cam lock there. You just, it's a shame to take and see a beautiful animal like this end up being in a situation where it'll take and wreck itself. Here again, it's kind of a, doing so many coyotes there when I work around them, the bottom of them front legs and down across the belly, even when you have the males. Where the teats are there, you gotta be careful there. You can't roll over there real hard and fast because you pull holes in them, and especially right underneath them front legs. But boy, you get to a wolf, they've got different skin. They've got thicker skin. So glad that I caught these wolves when it was nice and cold. Excuse me, it was like 30 below Celsius. 30 some below Celsius. They got caught in the coldest snap of the winter. Tiny bit of green there, but I don't think I've ever caught a wolf there. I mean, it's hard. They take and they lay down in deep snow even when it's cold, and they're insulated so well. And I don't think I've ever heard it from a biologist, but I've heard it from trappers and so on, and they talk about how the stomach acid that they have. I mean, they just can't take and lay around. I see some guys that take and they hang on to them for the winter. They put them on their backs in the shed, and they stay. But there must be kind of a trick to them there. Obviously, laying down on their side in good weather, they slip. I've had them. They slip. Same thing down by the belly here. They're so nice. So nice to be able to take and flesh them with the thicker skin. You can really see how I'm working that flesher there. You can really pull. And it's just such a beautiful animal to take and flesh compared to those coyotes. I mean, those coyotes, you're forever kind of monitoring your pressure, the amount of downforce that you have. The entire combination of the equation of fleshing with a coyote, you're constantly, you can't never just take and just put all your push and power into it. I can't say that I did it on this wolf neither, but you could really feel that you could really go into it. Trying to work them back edges in there. I'm trying to take and make this video. I'm going to try to compress this thing a little bit here. I'm going to come and flip that thing over. Now what I do is I take and I work straight down the back, all the way down the back. Flip it back over, clean the neck right to the front shoulders, and then go straight down the belly here. And then I'll just come in and come down each side Nothing too special on the sides. You're actually covering so much ground already from going straight down the back and straight down the belly that, and then you're basically right up to the, you got the front half of each of the shoulders already done. It's a pretty easy scrape down there, so I'm just going to take and speed this video up a little bit here and cut to the chase. Hope you guys are enjoying the video. I'm not sure exactly what happened here with the color, but yeah, it's just getting to the end of the video here and finishing up. Everything turned out really good with these wolves here. They were good skinning. I had a lot of fun doing them. Not exactly sure. Not exactly sure what happened here with the video, but yeah. Hope you guys don't mind me carrying on here. I'm trying to keep my videos here so that they're not too long and drawn out, and still trying to give the viewer, you know, their money's worth here, so to speak. And I'd really like to see you guys subscribe and like my videos, and please, I'd really like to hear from you. Give me your comments. Let me know your thoughts and how things are going out there, how you're making out in the forest, and I'm trying to take and put out a video every Sunday here, so we'll see how this goes. I'm looking at the clock right now, and I'm not going to take and hit the sheets before 1 a.m. today, but that's my life right now. I'm having a lot of fun, but I'm not getting a lot of sleep. So I guess you got to pay to play. So having a lot of fun here, guys. I've got a bunch of footage coming here yet for some really awesome coyote videos that I did, and ended up having my machine broke down, and I ended up dragging coyotes around on sleighs. It was an adventure. Kind of partly my own doing there, but I didn't care. I lost 10 pounds this winter, so what can you say? You gotta figure out the positive there and focus on that. So yeah, I'm gonna tune out here and get this baby finished up. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and hope you get something out of it. And yeah, leave me your comments and let me know how things are going. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'm glad you guys are liking what I'm putting out there. Have a great day. Solotrapper out. Well, that's it. Can you get it all in there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you gotta stay there. That's it. That's wolf number 2 done. That one will be pretty long on the stretcher. Looking forward to seeing him on the stretcher. So I've got quite a few areas that I'm going to take and work on once I've got them on the board. Obviously, I'm going to work. I'm going to do the ears. I'm going to do the lips, and I'm going to skin out the paws. And so yeah, I'll make a video of that as well, and that'll be it might be coming up tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.